So, yeah, addiction, all the things associated with it, and the whole lifestyle, all that stuff. I got sober briefly, was getting back involved in my son's life, and, I made a choice, because I'm not one of these people that's going to tell you that addiction's a disease. I don't believe it is. It's a choice. I made a choice to pick up every time I picked up. I have a spiritual malady. I look for things of this world to fill a hole in my heart that only God can fill, and I'm responsible for choosing what I fill that hole with. So, you can take that for what it is. But I made a choice to serve myself again. And all the things happen really fast, On June 12th of 2020, I jumped in a car to go pick up some methamphetamine. It was laced with fentanyl. I'd been up for 7 days, trying to be Scarface and Rick Ross and all this other mess, and work construction jobs because I'd lost my other job. Sorry, I traded my other job. It was a coupon to do the things I wanted to, because that job stood in the way of me getting another drug. So I go to pick up that stuff. I took a shot of it thinking it was pure product. I get like a 20-minute burst of energy driving to the house and start nodding out. I come to, I'm in the ditch, truck's kind of sideways. RPC pipe in the driveway ahead of me, dashboard red 60. I don't remember nothing else. I broke my neck, fractured my spine. I had a piece of my cranial nerve, a piece of my skull compressed my cranial nerve. So that's why this half of my face don't work right. And my eye still waters when I cry, or when I eat. Like my eye just tears up every time I eat. So I'm in the neck brace, eye patch. I can barely walk. I'll skip over the hospital story, but I get out of the hospital against medical advice because I wanted to feel better. And a couple more months pass, and I'm still doing the Scarface thing. And I get a call from my son's mom, and she's like, my son wants to see me. Well, he hadn't seen me since pretty much before I relapsed. So it's going on at this point in time close to 10 months. And I weigh 270 right now. That's where I was when I relapsed. And I got down to about 220 pounds. It just looked bad. My face was all droopy. And I remember thinking, my son's not going to recognize me. As I go up to the park, I'm standing there watching him play from a distance and high off of my mind. Like I was gone. God bless you, Jerry.
Appreciate it,
but I'm sitting there thinking like he's not going to know who I am. And about the time that went through my head, like my son looks up and he comes running up to me. He's like, "Daddy." And he said, "Did you almost die?" And I said, "Yeah." He had heard his mom talking about it. And he said, "Well, if you die, I want to bury you outside of my bedroom window so you always be there." And like I think about that moment so often because, the way I got a restriction for some audiences. Okay. So I think about that moment often because, I'm thinking he's not going to recognize me. And he runs up and he's like, "Daddy." And, he didn't see a junkie. He didn't see a deadbeat. He didn't see some loser, criminal, which I was all those things. Like he saw his daddy. And, that's the way God looks at us. He looks at us and he doesn't see the junkie, the loser, the deadbeat, the homeless person, the person in prison, the whatever it may be. He sees his child and he's like, "Just come home." And, you know, my son's like, you know, I want to bury you outside of my bedroom window so you always be there. And it's like, man, I would be more present as a father to this little boy in the ground outside of his bedroom window than I have been walking on top of it. And God's like looking at us in the same way. He's like, I just want you near me. It's like, just come home. Just be here. Just walk towards me. I'll meet you where you are. And I think that's, you know, I talked about, you know, 1 Kings 19 a little bit earlier. You know, we talked about it last night in our Zoom meeting, but, you know, this is like Elijah is, he wants to die. Like he's ready to give up. He's on the run from Jezebel. She wants him dead. And he's tired, you know, he's depressed, he has anxiety, he's got all these things that we can relate to. And, you know, the angel of the Lord comes and he says, get up, I want you to eat. Elijah gets up and then he goes back to sleep. The angel of the Lord comes back, touches him, get up. You need to eat more because you've got a journey, you've got to finish where you're going. So Elijah gets up and he goes, you know, to the mountain of the Lord, and God comes and talks to him. He's like, Elijah, I want you to go up on my mountain. Elijah goes up on the mountain, and it says the Lord passed by. And there was a terrible wind blast, so bad that it shook the rocks loose, but the Lord was not in the wind. It says after the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, there was a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, there was the sound of a gentle whisper. And like, this story is so impactful to me because I've been through that wind blast. I've been through the storms. I've been through the earthquake and the fire. And while God wasn't in anything that happened to me, he was with me through everything that happened to me. And it was when all that stuff had passed and I was just a broken shell of a man, just beat down. I had nowhere to go. I had nowhere to turn to. I had nobody to call that would answer my calls. And that's in that silence, in that whisper is where God spoke to me. And, you know, the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life, I say this all the time, was that silence where I was on my knees asking God to fix me or just take me home.